So incredibly lovely to continue with this. And today it is a very different tape we're going to listen to, the Reconnecting with God. And that's a lovely title, of course, but it's a very different kind of tape in the sense of it's more meditative than anything before that we have listened to. So it's like there's a beautiful atmosphere which we basically are in together, and that continues in the tape too. Now, so I'm in this moment before the tape. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some references to the idea of cause and effect, the idea that cause and effect are not apart, because that's something that Master Teacher really teaches in this tape that we're going to listen to. And the references to this idea, like cause and effect are not apart. Like, how could cause and effect be apart if you are, as God created you, the cause, God, and the effect is you, are never apart. Like, they come together all the time, like they're one thing. So there's no such thing as a cause and effect. So that becomes whole in the joining of the two. In the joining of the opposites, it becomes one. It is one, and only in your imagination you can separate the two. Now, this is the basic idea behind that. Now, but even in your dream, the idea of opposites or duality or things that seem to take time for it to realize or to manifest or to you see that there's a lot to learn, because in fact every lesson, every learning situation that you're in has to do with an idea of cause and effect. Because you think it takes time for something to happen. Yeah? You think like, well, if I do this and this and this, then I might wake up at one day. If I do the exercises, then I might wake up one day. Or just to keep it in the ideas of Course in Miracles, the thing that you do is, in fact, you separate cause and effect continuously. Otherwise, you would be in experience of wholeness. So this is how you can check that for yourself. So your dream is full of it. There's always something that seems to affect you later. You think that because of this in the past, now I'm here experiencing this. Or that's what made me, like that was the cause of me, that made me as I am, like all that made me as I am. So then you say like, I am separate from the origin, and that has an effect, and I'm the representation of the effect. So that is not your reality, obviously. That is the description that you give yourself, and you literally separate cause and effect in order to establish yourself as a separate identity. Now you can imagine that if that collapses back into one another, that you experience yourself as directly in the effect of God, like being a direct effect of God. So you see, that's really great material to work with in this transformational consideration of this transformational teaching. It's very much like very helpful. So I have references from the Manual for Teachers, where we looked at yesterday. Manual for Teachers, even the part Trust, that's where it came from too. And then we go through some lessons and some text. You see that it is like everywhere it's being mentioned in in the same way it is taught, but in different ways it is expressed. So let's take a look at that. Right? So cause and effect are not apart. So you can say, like, being born in this human body and dying in this human body seem to be two separate things. Like, because I was born, I will die. And this, you see how this is present in your dream. Because you're born, you think you're born, now you also have to die. those seem to be connected to one another. So this is from the Urtext. I used the text from the Urtext. That was not really necessary, but I just loved it. So this is from the Manual for Teachers, from section 5, and this is the introduction to the idea of trust. Trust is the foundation on which the ability of God's teachers to fulfill their function rests. Perception is the result of learning. The way that you see is the result of learning. In fact, perception is learning, because cause and effect are never apart and never separated. So we talked about this yesterday too. Perception is the result of learning. In fact, perception is learning. So what you see reflects a process in your mind about what you desire, what you want to see. And that is why it works that way. Like, that is why perception is learning. You literally see exactly what you value, otherwise you would not be seeing it. And in that sense, it reflects a process in your mind. The teachers of God have trust in the world because they have learned it is not governed by the laws the world made up. It is governed by a power which is in them but not of them. It is this power that keeps all things safe. It is through this power that the teachers of God look on a forgiven world. So this is about the trust again. We keep coming back to it, and that's really lovely. So here is from the workbook, lesson 32, the first paragraph. Today we are continuing to develop the theme of cause and effect. You are not the victim of the world you see because you invented it. You can give it up as easily as you made it up. You will see it or not see it as you wish. While you want it, you will see it. When you no longer want it, it will not be there for you to see. So you see, like, all kinds of lessons are reflected, are part of this too, like the power of decision is my own. I see this world. I literally see this world because I value it. And if I don't value it, it will disappear in front of me. It's like literally there will be no reference to it any longer. But I value it, that's why I see it. So in that sense, it's like, this is, perception is learning. You see the things for what they are. You start to see the things for what they are. You discover, does it have value of itself? What I see, does that have value of itself? Well, if it does, then I want to see that. Now here you see different things, because we see that in the process of using perception, nothing I see means anything. You study with that. Nothing I see means anything. The things that I see are images that I've made. The world I see is of my own making, and it does not exist except because I value it, I see it. So it can dissolve. Now here, when it dissolves, you could say you enter into the real world. That has nothing to do with your concepts any longer. It has nothing to do with cause and effect. And that is different. So in the time that literally, in time, you still perceive the world as something because you value it. And you say, like, well, I don't want to see that. And then it's like, well, that's impossible, because cause and effect are never apart. You cannot be a victim of a world that you invented. See how far this goes? It's like, before you accept that idea that you invented the world, that can take a moment. That's like a daily lesson that you literally bring in all the time. No, I cannot be a victim of the world that I see because I invented it. If I don't like something about it, I have to look at, where does this start? And then I come back here. It's like, oh yeah, wait a minute. I invented it. I literally see only reflected what I want to see, even if I think I don't want to see it. So there must be a different way to look at it, is what we learn then. So you can accept this, you can accept this as a concept, but it's actually working continuously, and it has effect. And here, this effect is not on you alone. It's like, this is lesson 19, the first paragraph. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. This is obviously the reason why your seeing does not affect you alone. You will notice that at times the ideas related to thinking precede those related to perceiving, while at other times the order is reversed. The reason is that the order does not actually matter. Thinking and its results are really simultaneous, for cause and effect are never separate. Thinking and its results are really simultaneous. So it's like, what was first? Was it the chicken or the egg? What was first, the chicken or the egg? This is a comparison. What was first? And then you go, well, I cannot really tell. It's like they seem to happen at the same time, because the cause and effect are not apart. Like they happen at the same time. As suddenly there's the egg, there also suddenly was the chicken who laid an egg. But anyway, so this is just a metaphor, using a metaphor for it. But the other thing is like, it doesn't really matter what is first, the thought or the effect of the thought or the image. It doesn't really matter. So you don't have to figure this out and trying to pinpoint it. No, they're inseparable. Cause and effect are not apart. So you are literally what you think. You see what you think. You are in the middle of that continuously, because cause and effect are not apart. See, that works for your dream as well as for reality. In the dream, now I can say stretch it out a little bit in terms of time, thinking that, oh, I thought about that. And then you see the effect of it. We all have that. It's like, oh yeah, I was thinking about that. Well, yeah, here's the image. Now you do as if the two are apart. You play some time in between. That's literally what you do. So to see it as immediate is really something else. It speeds up time if you do so. So in this, for instance, also has a direct relationship with the effects of what you are thinking in terms of your feelings. So it's like you can have an idea about something and it actually has an immediate effect on where you find yourself, how you see yourself, how you define yourself immediately. Now you become that, literally. Like you cannot have a thought separate from your experience. And you think you can, because you think you have neutral thoughts too, like they don't have any effect on anyone. But yes, they do. So if I have an idea about myself, that affects you, because it literally determines how I see you, or how we can relate to one another. If I think I'm a separate one, then I literally am becoming that. I literally am all the separation in the universe, you could say. Like, that's the only thing that's going on. Now, everything is reflecting that back to me. So that's why it's like the descriptions you give to yourself, you learn to release, because they define you in a way that isn't you. So that will always feel like an enclosure or a contraction. While if you let go of it, if you release the idea, well, let go of ideas, so we can talk about that. But it's like if you release the idea, or the value that you give the idea, or the necessity to hold on to the idea, if you lose that, drop that, then it's free again. Then you can breathe, then you're open, then you're receptive, then you communicate again, you could say. When I communicate, when I'm open, literally that is like the perfect communication taking place. I'm open to communicate. If my mind is say, at one with God, so I'm actually aware of it, that communicates continuously. Like that is the gift that you give, that makes you the light of the world. Because now that is what you bring in. You don't, say, limit it to your limited ideas. So that's, of course, the self-realization that we're talking about. Huh? This is not just ideas that we play around with, but in fact, like in the release of your ideas, your concerns, and your desires, and all this, in the release of that, literally the whole universe starts to communicate. And it says somewhere in one of the lessons, myself is ruler of the universe. Myself with a capital S is a ruler of the universe. And that's like, yes, of course. Because literally that is the center point. Not that it's locatable, but it's literally, it is the totality of all of it. So that's why it's so great to see the immediate effects of what is being taught. That can bring you literally in a different experience. Because you dropped your ideas. Now suddenly your mind is open, or you open your consciousness for a different kind of experience. Now if you become that openness, everything is open, and you watch the universe being open. So to repeat it one more time, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. This is obviously the reason why your seeing does not affect you alone. You will notice that at times the ideas related to thinking precede those related to perceiving, while at other times the order is reversed. The reason is that the order does not actually matter. Thinking and its results are really simultaneous, for cause and effect are never separate. So we continue with this one from chapter 26. What has kept apart can never join. What has been kept apart can never join. Cause and effect are one, not separate. God wills you learn what always has been true. That He created you as part of Him. And that this must still be true because ideas leave not their source. Such is creation's law, that each idea the mind conceives, but adds to its abundance, never takes away. It's really lovely. So what has been kept apart can never join. Cause and effect are one, not separate. God wills you learn what always has been true, that He created you as part of Him, inseparable, and this must still be true because ideas leave not their source. So it's not that God thinks ideas of separation or attack, no. The idea that is God is one with you. He created you one with Him. Such is creation's law, that each idea the mind conceives but adds to its abundance, never takes away. So this is from chapter 16. This is a course in how to know yourself. You have taught what you are, but have not let what you are teach you. You have taught what you are, like you give descriptions of yourself, you have seen yourself as something, you've made it up, you made an identity up for yourself, but you have not let what you are teach you. You've been very careful to avoid the obvious and not to see the real cause and effect relationship that is perfectly apparent. Yet within you is everything you taught. You didn't lose it. What can it be that has not learned it? It must be this that is really outside yourself, not by your own projection, but in truth. And it is this that you have taken in, that is not you. What you accept into your minds does not really change them. Illusions are but beliefs in what is not there. See, this is... I never read this before, like I really discovered this today. Of course I've read it before, but I never heard it like this. There's really something else. Here, look at this. This is a course in how to know yourself. Well, you can agree with that. You have taught what you are, but have not let what you are teach you. You have been very careful to avoid the obvious in actually coming to know yourself, and not to see the real cause and effect relationship that is perfectly apparent. Cause and effect are never apart. I'm, say, in the likeness of my Father. Yet within you is everything you taught. What can it be that has not learned it? Like, what can it be? It must be something that's really outside yourself. It's like that what you taught yourself must really be outside yourself, not by your own projection, but in truth. Like, it must be outside of everything. It does not have to do with anything. And it is this that you have taken in, that is not you. What you accept into your minds does not really change them. Illusions are but beliefs in what is not there. See, that's where perception comes in again. It's like illusions are but beliefs in what is not there. You see the world that you want to see according to your ideas, but it has no reality at all. All right, so this is the warming up for listening to Master Teacher in the Reconnecting with God tape that we're going to listen to. So let's get started with that.
Good morning, God's Country Place, and the kitchen here for just a minute. Within the religious balance, the idea of atonement is defined as making up for, or a repentance, or an indication of satisfied retribution. To atone means to perform a mental or physical act that provides relief for the apparent incapacity to formulate unity thinking. The whole basis of atonement, which is at-one-ment, is to bring about in your minds, through a connecting process, the unification of your thought associations. Now, the necessity to detach you from your previous conceptual associations in the formulation of the limited constructs of your previous perception will be very obvious to you if you look at them, won't you? When you come to me and say, help me become enlightened, whatever you think that might be, or help me to forgive, or help me to give of myself and the nature of the love that I feel for my brothers, my only and absolute instruction must finally be that you come to know yourself. This obviously involves a constant examination of your perceptual associations, and finally, through the release of the previous constructions, to bring about a new and totally different formulation of the perception of yourself in relationship to the things around you. Do you see this? Okay, there's a song out that I happened to pick up somewhere high up on the dial by Bobby Joel or some rock star who simply sings pertinent things, events, and personalities, apparently from about 1949 up to 1989. Each chorus is a year, if you haven't heard this song. And it begins with something like Harry Truman Hula Hoop, and he simply rhymes it and does it in an attempt in his mind to bring together a 40-year association with hitherto non-associate ideas, and suddenly you're including some incredible things. This is the need of the mind. Now, those of you who have pain in your early adolescence, those of you who feel the stress of this pressing reality on you, have the kind of minds that are attempting to organize in a high framework this incredible chaos that they see all around you. The whole purpose of the atonement is to allow you to do that. This is all I really do. My mind very early, and many sedativists, consciousnesses end up with the incapacity to deal with the speed of their associate thoughts and utilize a drug literally to slow down their perceptual thoughts. They don't understand that their mind is different, that it's faster, okay, that it has a tendency to correlate, in a different frame of reference. But there can be a lot of value to you when you go out as teachers if you are able to see these minds, because these are the kind of minds that you have. Okay. My mind, very early on, going back many years, saw associations that I could bring together in some sort of a continuity of thought. I mean, if you would look at historically, a lot of human beings would have trouble associating Mozart with Ben Franklin. I mean, that's an easy one. You don't associate the Revolutionary War with Mozart. And the connections are extensive throughout your own karma history. The real problem lies in that since your mind is a reflection of thought and it forms a continuity of self, it is in a rejection of thought that doesn't fit into a pattern of your participation in your self-identity at this time. This is the direct indication, as Master Jesus, the great out-of-body master that with associates constructed the Course in Miracles, would say to you, we are teaching you a process of forgiveness, to forgive, okay, to literally not hold a grievance of your own thoughts in an association with the conceptual ideas that you have about yourself. Holy mackerel. But certainly it begins with the human brain, or the left brain, correlating all of these memory patterns that are coming into it from the genetic signals coming to it from its potential. Okay. Now the so-called creative mind simply correlates all of these ideas and expresses itself at a previously unknown range of consciousness. You call this genius. It may be funneled, it may be very local, it may be the extension of energy in a particular commitment. Here's the teaching. The only manner in which you can unify or cognify your associate thoughts is through the establishment of a desired effect. This you might look at as a goal, isn't it? So you bring together all of the thoughts you have and seek a goal that will bring you a feeling of unification, a feeling of happiness, a feeling of contentment, isn't it? And this is really all the human mind does. Somewhere within its framework, it comes together in endeavors to identify itself in association with itself. The broad picture of that, obviously, is the culture that you see all around you here, the need to come together and to be at peace and to be at home. Okay. My direction and my statement to you is that your mind is single consciousness, is universal consciousness. It appears chaotic because somewhere within the framework of you it is split. And once it's split, it seeks to identify itself outside of the framework of a wholeness which must be God or singular consciousness. The atonement is nothing but the bringing together of all of the thought forms in memory that are within the framework of space-time. Isn't this astonishing? Okay. The dilemma that you face in your mind is the incorrigible necessity to bring together, the Holocaust, to bring together the idea that 10,000 babies starved to death last night with the lovely observation of April morning when the rain is falling gently on spring flowers. How good, my goodness sake, no wonder you're in pain. Do you care to look at how you have to, in the stress of your attempted retention of reality, correlate the awful pain and death of your mind associations with the love and joy and happiness of a summer picnic? Holy mackerel. That you managed to do it, it indicates the incredible achievement possibility of the distance between cause and effect of perceptual mind. But Master Jesus has a sentence very early in the course where he says, you can't do it indefinitely. Finally, the fractured mind suffers so much tension and pain in its necessity but incapacity to ultimately identify itself, that it literally begins to expand itself in the ratios of its own thinking. You call this evolution, and I'm not going to get into that particular. This is actually what's occurring in your minds now, very evidently. Be grateful. So this is a course in non-rejection to obtain connection. Okay? Now when your mind begins to what? Correlate, and out of the depth of your memory come lovely allegories, don't they? Suddenly you make a connection between Homer's Ulysses and the 12 tasks and the 12 tribes of Israel, or the 12 vagus nerves of your body. And oh wow, you begin to get very excited about the notion of the I Ching and the genetic code having the same helix symbol. Wow, wow, wow. They're telling you something, aren't they? They're telling you that contained in you are all of these symbols and thought forms that you can bring together in a unification of whole-mindedness. Okay? Now, if we're going to use the Course in Miracles, and we will for a moment, Master Jesus would indicate it's impossible that your mind and reality not be whole. We're literally dealing with an impossible situation where you have taken split concepts yourself and formulated a world, literally a world, that couldn't possibly exist because it's only in relationship with itself. It's like being an egg or being born. Now, as you come to know that is so, you'll be born. So being born is simply remembering. Isn't that fun? And that's what we're about here. And I, just for a minute here on this lovely Tuesday morning, January the 16th, 1990 at God Cancer Place, I want to show you that as you come around a whole mind, it will instruct you very simply to come into whole associations with yourself. Instead of grabbing previously ascribed conceptions and attempting to formulate them in some sort of computer falsity, take each thing you see, okay, bring it into wholeness in association with yourself, and begin to create through the self-expression of you. Huh? And that's what we're doing here. We'll be back in a little bit. John Frank is sitting here saying, talk more about this. Well, here's the thing. If the connections of your mind are to establish a limited perceptual goal, let's say you're going to take all of the cultural aspects of your college days and your high school days and bring them into a law degree where you can practice law, you're going to continue to feel the frustrations of your own unfulfillment. Now, here's what we maintain. If you will set your goal to whole-mindedness, or the absolute determination to know yourself in reality, okay, you will then take all the things that happen to you and fit them perforcely into an association with what you are. This is called spiritual search, if you want to. But when it reaches its highest level, the only necessity or indication is to seek ye first the kingdom of the Lord, expressed religiously, and inevitably you will find it, since the power of your mind must direct you, okay, to the effects that you hitherto established somewhere within the space-time framework. You know, in other words, I want to know God. Okay, the statement, I want to know God, or I want to know who I am, is the positive indication that if you'll include all of yourself and your perceptual mind in with yourself, you will have to know who you are. Now, that may necessitate including things that you don't want to include, things that will cause you stress and pain because of your previous rejection of them. Okay. All new teachings, my new covenant, my direction of whole mind is existential and includes the necessity for you to arrive at the conclusion of subjective reality, that quite literally you are the constructor of the world. That will give you the relief of the necessity to be first at the mercy of something that appears to be outside of you. Okay? And second, the assertion of your capacity to come to whole light and truth through that endeavor. Now, if this smacks of a process of non-defensiveness, okay, a process of giving up your previous relationships, and this is what you don't want to do, this will lead you directly to the fundamental Christian teachings of Jesus Christ. You're not going to get away from your kingdom is not of this world. You're not going to get away from resist not evil. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the meek. Why? Because your continued participation in your attempts to self-identify are what hell is. This is what's causing your difficulty. Sin, sickness, and death are not real. They cannot be real if you seek whole-mindedness. Because if there is whole-mindedness, you must be contained within that framework. And the absurdity of conflict in total whole mind is too ridiculous to contemplate. So you can look very simply at you pose the question, I don't know who I am, and that obviously is an insane state. But allowing you that, you can come to know who you are by including all of you and with a quotient of your reality. Okay, we'll be back. Now, for those of you who are going to be using this tape, I'm going to include you in on part of a process which you might term the initiation process, or the necessity for you to be quiet. The absolute necessity for you to still the incorrigible mind. This is a technique that's demonstrated in all Eastern traditions, in fact in every tradition, and certainly within the Christian framework of silent prayer, and most explicitly as a technique of the workbook of the Course in Miracles. It begins with the statement, you don't know who you are, tells you you're not real, and tells you to be quiet. Okay? So that the atonement or the at-one-ment is nothing but the subtraction then, okay, of the previously held views of associated perception about yourself. So the teaching is the removal of the obstacles to reality which constitute the perceptual mind. Now what we'll do here just for a few minutes is we have a group of loving consciousnesses here who are in the practice of meditation. So if you'll sit comfortably for just a moment and shut up, okay, we'll begin to allow this reformation through some vision perhaps, or through some surrender practices, to bring you to the light that is directly behind that veil or cloud that you have constructed to protect your apparent sin and separation. Let's be about it. breathe in some light. Because of the nature of God's country place, you'll notice that very rapidly you begin to feel a gentle peace, and it begins to soothe your conceptions, and you begin to release yourself to this light that is actually all around you. The limited perceptual ones who are really non-existent or dead, as we call, all around them is life and beauty and love, but because they refuse to release the self-constructed perceptions, they don't see it. That's what we're doing now. This lovely connection will come automatically. If your mind becomes beset with thoughts, just release them. Don't attempt to hold and identify. They'll flow rapidly by. Don't hold on. Don't grasp. Don't possess thoughts. Simply be. I know there's an answer to this somewhere, and I'm determined to find it. I am determined to find the purpose for me. I am told that the purpose for me is to bring all of me together in this perception so that I can maturate, so that I can graduate to a new dimension of perceptual consciousness. Be a whole new thing. I seek that. It cannot be, it is not there, for I have formulated it. I will awake now. The valley will be exalted. That's very lovely, and we'll continue this meditation. It's important that you see that this course in miracles, this course in atonement can be taught to yourself, since you are a total mind construct. And your decision to proceed with this evolutionary process of your mind makes it inevitable that it occurred. One of the prime directives to you now is to disassociate yourself from linear time. Stop constructing yourself in sequential time. Let time be what it is. then you can bring your cause and effect together again. You can come into the now of eternity. You do that by what? Simply relinquishing your previous experiences with yourself, for goodness sake. Give them up. Come into your now and be whole. Those of you now who are experiencing and have experienced the incredible pain of the necessity to attempt to formulate your perceptual thoughts with the reality of you will find this day very valuable, if you're ready to listen to it. We say that you are coming to new mind and that you are different from the thought patterns that are around you. You're very early in this adventure, but you're never too early. So stand clear and stand firm. This is a process of detachment, of course. You didn't fail. I am here positively to tell you that you didn't fail. I know. I know you all very well. The basis of our teachings is to shorten time and finally collapse it so that there is no distance between the cause, which is your thought, and the effect that you think is outside you. Cause and effect are not apart, and when we bring them together in your whole mind, you will experience enlightenment, and you will see that you are. That's what's happening to you. And if you feel the intensity and the pain and the friction of your search for futile goals, your determination to be eternal now rather than caught in the throes of pain and death, you begin to hear this message. There is no death. There is no termination. You renounce it now in your own mind through looking right at it. Don't cast it off into the future. Look at it now. Bring it to your attention now. It's impossible that you determine it. You are all the light and consciousness that there could ever be. This fear threshold that you're going to cross very soon is nothing but mind constructs of separation, conflict. They have no reality now. This is the whole teachings of the transformation process, the willingness to view the defiled altar, as Jesus would say. Look at your whole self in association with yourself. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You have nothing to fear. Your capacity to extend love now, true empathy, is becoming very, very bright and advanced. You no longer judge, you'd rather reflect back to yourself the evilness that you have presented to him, but rather through forgiveness come into the whole light of your love reality. How simple then is salvation, the relinquishment of the grievance that you hold in your previous historic frames of reference with the images that you have brought with you to this world to protect your own shell, your own hell, your own unreality. Give them up now. Come home with us. Truth and love await you just over here, right here. Heaven is not a place. There is no heaven without you. There is no God without you. Thankfully, then, in reality, you, aren't you? Master Jesus, nothing outside of heaven is real. And this is outside of heaven, so it is not real. You need no longer be concerned about it. Let go and let God. So our talk on connections has turned into a meditative session. We wanted you out there now, all around the world, that are using the words of Jesus Christ of Nazareth in the direct facilitation of reality that is the Course in Miracles, to take us as the applicators of that in our determination to bring about the transformation of your minds. Now this becomes an advanced course, doesn't it? Since the sole purpose of any direction, spiritual direction, is to bring about enlightenment or transformation. There is no other reason. We're happy that you're joining us now in this full endeavor, this full commitment to the reality of the universe that's all about you. Wake up, sleeping ones, wake up. I would have no reason to tell you in such moments. Your admission of that will be a giant step in the shortening of time for you. You are coming to know that motivated action leads inevitably to death. You no longer want to pursue the limited things that human beings do, and that's perfectly all right. This is our teaching and our declaration. The earth is not real. Isn't Master Jesus would say, your kingdom is not of this world, but rather of the world of the living. This brotherhood forms now in that statement of love and forgiveness. And through this process of giving, forgiving, we have begun the creative statements of perceptual self-identity that extend from us in the certainty of our wholeness and our statements of innocence, non-guilt, which can only come from a whole mind that knows that sin and death and sickness have no reality. Swear not to die, you holy Son of God. You made a bargain you cannot keep, as Master Jesus would say. Rather join the living one. This is an individual process. This has nothing to do with the apparent cohorts and constituencies that you have constructed outside of yourself, teacher. Gets a little lonely perhaps in there in your pursuit of this. That's okay. That's okay. Be true. Be of good cheer. You are not alone. The momentary pain that you feel as you attempt to detach yourself from these perceptual associations and the demand, Master Jesus handles it beautifully in the Course, the demand that you continue to share temporal and apparently rational death and pain associations with the consciousnesses that appear beyond you is where the pain is, because very well in your mind you know that there's something more than this. You've always known it. And you awaken now to that clarion call that echoes across the universe, proclaiming the reality, single consciousnesses in love and truth. Come home, come home. This is not your home. continuing process of the transformation of your mind. Mentally, emotionally, physically, you're undergoing these changes physically. The enlightenment of the whole body, of course. Of course. The statement that your body will become a vehicle of communication, the extension of true perception, statement of your wholeness is what saviorship is, and indeed you are the only living Son of God. The world is saved through you, and no other way. These are the teachings of Jesus in the Course in Miracles, and these are the teachings that need statements, that need the necessity of your declarations. You come make them with us now. Be free in commitment. We can't fail. Infinite patience brings immediate result. It's impossible that we would come together with a common goal and not recognize ourselves in the unifying statement of our reality of love. How firm a foundation then is established in this associate church of reality. Energy of our commitment literally transforms. Those of you who are hearing this call now, you know who you are. This is the time that you chose, isn't it? Within your own conceptions, within your own dream. It has nothing to do with anything that you've constructed around you, except the necessity that you included in with the formulation of yourself, and we'll help you do that. This is a process of forgiveness. But once you catch a glimpse of what we're presenting to you, you will never want to do the things that you've been doing. You're going to turn towards the light, aren't you? Time is an invention that you have constructed to keep yourself from recognizing that cause and effect are not apart, and that you are creative mind in action. And that's the metamorphosis that's occurring in you. Look. You use this tape now in your meditative moments and in your groups and individually. It will be of high value to you if you let it be. When the words of truth are spoken to you. You feel these stirrings now of reality. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. There is nothing to fear. Nothing. There'll be a point in your meditation you say, I don't want to do this. I'm fearful. I'm losing myself. Fear not. This transition that you're passing through happened very rapidly. You remember it took you a long, long time to get into this. This old world was over a long time ago. You're just reliving now those moments where fear entered. They'll be passing very soon. See, you are the light of the world. We're glad you're here with us now in this final dream. This was our designated time of coming together. The Omega point, where we step out of time into eternity. It's important that you remember that space has nothing at all to do with this meditation. You can enter directly into this mandala, into this associative energy, through your commitment. You feel then the integration of the energy forces of the universe, and we're never apart. There's your light. Now this vast array of perception comes together in this new formulation in your mind. You step briskly into the light. How foolish of you to think that sickness and death and pain were real. What a foolish idea. Love and truth are a fact. God is a fact. And you are that. And have become that. Perhaps we'll see you soon, physically now, won't we? As this group, this high gathering comes together. You call us or invite us. This is the great process going on now. Transcendence. Our time is short now. Come on. Take a good look at this. Don't falter. We hope to see you soon. We will be with you always. God bless you from this place of love. We'll be back.